Hi, I'm Siri Chilazi, a gender and organizations researcher at the Women in Public Policy program at Harvard Kennedy School. I go by she. I was a member of the Catalyze Tech working group that created the ACT report. And today I want to share with you 4 evidence-based strategies to improve the effectiveness of your diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. Number 1, make your goals stretching yet realistic. Research shows that challenging goals spur more behavior change than easy ones. But there is such a thing as goals that are too challenging, especially if people perceive them to be unattainable. You want to thread the needle and strike a balance. A great example comes from the global professional services firm Accenture, which in 2020 announced new goals for diversifying its US workforce. By 2025, Accenture wants to increase the representation of its Black and African American colleagues from 9% to 12%, and the representation of its Hispanic American and Latinx colleagues from 9.5% to 13%. Both of these goals were the result of extensive internal data analysis, which showed that in order to reach them, Accenture would have to increase the number of African American and Hispanic American colleagues by about 60%. Stretching, yes, but also, in their estimation, doable. Number 2, set both process and outcome goals. A lot of the goals we see tech companies setting are of the outcome type, meaning that they pertain to the actual outcomes we wish to see, such as doubling the share of Black software engineers. However, the attainment of that overall goal is underpinned by a lot of organizational processes: recruitment, retention, promotion. For example, how many applications are you actually seeing from Black applicants? Are they making it through the recruitment funnel in proportion to the number of original applications that came in? What about the interview stage? You might wish to set process-related goals for each of those stages and each of those processes that directly feed into whether or not you meet your overall outcome goal. Indeed, research has shown that both process goals and outcome goals are highly effective at driving organizational change. Number 3, break big goals into smaller constituent pieces. It's the small daily actions of leaders, managers, and employees at all levels of your company that determine whether you meet your big, audacious, organization-wide goals. And if those employees at all levels don't understand how their daily decisions feed into the attainment or not of the big goal, it's more likely that their behaviors are not goal aligned. So take the time and make the effort to translate that big aggregate goal to employees at all levels to help them see how they can do their part to meet it. For example, what would it mean for every SVP and director in your company and the teams that report up to them if your goal is to double the share of women in senior leadership in the next 3 years? What does it mean specifically for each SVP and director in terms of whom they're going to hire, retain, and promote? This strategy was deployed with great success at the global consumer goods giant Unilever, which increased its proportion of women in global management roles from 38% in 2010 to 50% in 2020, ahead of schedule. They took great pains to make it clear to each leader what they could do to pull their weight in achieving that massive global goal for a massive global organization. And finally, number 4, make at least some of your goals public. Public goals scare companies for exactly the same reasons that they've been shown to be so effective. They focus attention on the topic, they introduce time pressure, and they institute a definitive benchmark against which it's very clear to judge whether you succeeded or failed. Public goals also serve as an important signal of your serious commitment to DEI. And in fact, a recent study showed that they can even help to achieve those goals. When a company was explicit as part of their recruitment process about a specific diversity goal that they had set, they saw more applications from women and underrepresented racial and ethnic groups compared to when they just made a vague statement about valuing diversity. Now, not every goal has to be public outside the company, let alone inside, but do pick one or two serious game-changing goals that you are committed to, that you make public in order to create that real accountability for yourself. Thank you so much for listening, and very best of luck with setting and reaching your ambitious DEI goal.